Hi everybody, it's Lindsay. Today I'm actually going to film for you my 5 steps for easy falsies. I do get some questions about applying false eyelashes, and oftentimes when I'm with my friends, they ask me to apply them for them. So I thought, what a better video to do than to show you how I apply my lashes and how I have just kind of narrowed down the steps that I think are really important and in what order I think that they're important to do. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm actually going to apply my lashes so that you can see kind of what my process is. So my 5 steps are actually, I feel like the first one I feel like people always miss. It to me is the most important thing that you can do because it is literally tailoring the eyelash to your eyelid. So number 1, cut your lash to fit your lid. So important. The worst thing in the world, first off, is for you to have a super long lash that doesn't fit and looks ridiculous because it's so big. The other bad thing is that this little point, I don't know if you can see right here, this little point, that's going to go in there and it's going to irritate your tear duct. And then your eyes are going to water. And what happens when your eyes water? It breaks apart the glue that's holding your lashes on your eye. So really it's a vicious cycle. Cutting the ends off or cutting even them, to fit to size really works for towards your benefit, not to have these long caterpillar lashes that look ridiculous, that are too long, not to have them kind of sticking off over on the edge onto your cheek, not to have them poking your tear duct. It's just so important that you do that. Also, you could cut this in half and you could have little demis on the end for kind of a flared out look on the end. The best part about lashes is, yes, you have this one little strip, but you can do so much with this one little strip. So that's my first step, cut your lashes to size. My second step is to line your upper eyelid with a liner. It does not have to be a cat liner or a wingtip or anything fancy. It can just be a really thin line. But what that's going to do for you is it's going to give you a guideline, and it's going to allow the black band or the band of whatever color eyelash you're using to kind of camouflage itself onto your eyelid. There is nothing worse than seeing an eyelid with a very obvious kind of plastic ridge along it. That's certainly not what you're going for at all. So that would be step number 2, is line your upper lid. So after that, you're actually ready. You've cut your lash, you've lined your lid, and now you can go ahead and apply your glue. What I see all the time is people taking the lash and taking the glue and trying to squeeze it onto that does not work. That's gonna make a mess. And I've probably done it before, and I'm sure it's made a mess. I'm sure that's how I learned not to do it in the first place. But what you want to do, what I do at least, is I put just a little splotch of it on the back of my hand, and then it sits on my hand, and I can just easily drag the eyelash through that spot of glue. That way it ensures that it's on the lash, no problem. I've seen some people use Q-tips to really just kind of take it off your hand, place it onto the eyelash. You'll find what works best for you. If you don't feel like you're coordinated and you're still kind of smushing the lash into the glue by doing that, find what works for you. But the important part is to get the lash, focus it on the tips here, that's going to kind of attach, then putting any excess on the actual line. Now, I've seen people just do it on the edges. I don't think that gives you enough of a hold. I guess it depends on how long you're wearing them for, but that's just my personal opinion. So after that, you're actually going to worry about your lash placement. That's where you're going to want to know where you want it to fall on your eyelash. This is also kind of when you would measure it, back when you measured it to cut it, you'll be familiar with where you want it to go on your eyelid. So I actually use my fingers because I've gotten to the point where I can just kind of place it on the lash, and then I take my tweezers and then I start to move it around and set it. You want to hold it there, hold it to your lid so that it gives it some time to glue, to really adhere to your lid. So I actually am nervous about taking the actual tweezers to put them on my eye, but that's because I don't have the best coordination in the world. When I'm looking in a mirror, I feel like I'm going to poke myself in the eye. So that's just me. I do use tweezers to set it, but I don't use tweezers to place it. Whatever works best for you. And then finally, you're just going to want to work on your final touches. The final touches, to me, are really blending your natural lashes into the fake lash. So as you can see today, I'm not starting off with any mascara on whatsoever. I have certainly seen people start off with mascara, then place, and then blend. I don't think that works well, in my opinion, because your eyelashes have now had, what, 15 minutes since you applied your mascara to really dry. They're firm, they're flared out, they're gonna stick like that. And then when you put the fake lash on, you can see your natural lashes poking out from under them. That doesn't work for me. That might just be my lashes. I do have short lashes. So really kind of work on your own process, but for me, blending my lashes in with the fake lash is the very last thing that I do, and it tends to give me a very natural look. So now that I've explained the 5 easy steps to actually applying the lashes, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I do this. All right, here we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut my lashes for you using some small cosmetic scissors, and then these are my lashes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wiggle them onto the line here so I can see where exactly I want them to go and how much I want to come off. I'm gonna remove a pretty good portion at the end here. What you want to do is you want to keep track of this little piece that you cut off, or at least kind of take note about how much you took off, because you don't want each lash to be a different length. So now I have both my lashes, one is long and one is short. And I'm just gonna cut off that part as well. Now, like I said, you want to go back in and remove that little part that's just gonna poke the living dickens out of your tear duct. Is that a Southern thing, the living dickens? Feel like I must have gotten that from my grandmother. That's not something a 25-year-old says. So step 2 is to line your upper lash line. This is actually my Lorac Front of the Line Pro. This is really, really wonderful for getting a very precise line on your eyelid. It is a liquid but a felt tip, so it really has some precision and stay power. There is something called Maybelline. I don't know if it's the stiletto or not, but there is one that's very similar made by Maybelline. There you go. So now I have lined my upper lid, and it is ready for the fake lash. So now this is when you take your glue. This is the Ardell Duo Eyelash Adhesive. Not the biggest fan of this, but it is what I have right now that is not running on low. My favorite eyelash adhesive is very hard to find, probably because it's sold out because it's so good, but you can find it on, I think, drugstore.com. Amazon.com has it for a rip-off price of $15. Do not pay $15 for this. This is $5 at most. It's Revlon Precision Eyelash Adhesive. It comes in a white. It also can come in a black. I will link a version through Drugstore. I just have not ordered it myself. I'm running low, and you can kind of see the frayed ends. It's kind of ridiculous. This is great for beginners because it's got this little wand, and you really can, with this particular tool, avoid that whole hand step and just kind of paint it on the rim where you want it to go, like that. It would be harder to show you how to do it today because it's almost empty, so it would be pointless. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little touch of it right here. Just a little dot of the glue. I'm going to take the lash, and I'm going to take the edges, pop them through first, and then kind of dabble it all throughout the middle, dragging it very gently, and then you see you have a very thin line all the way across it. So now I'm just going to place it. You want to start from above and just kind of wiggle it in a downward motion. Do not fight the urge to blink. Just be sure that when you blink, you're careful and you don't completely smudge the top line and the bottom line together. This is when, first off, these lashes stink for actually applying them for beginners. These are not beginner's lashes. Do not use them if you're a beginner. But anyway, what you want to do, this is when you take your tweezers and you hold the end down. And you're just kind of forcing it to dry there where you want it to go. Now these are some intense lashes. I picked intense ones so that you could really see what I was doing and see the difference. You certainly can use some that aren't quite as whoa. These are just the ones I picked today. For my beginners out there, the brand that I would go ahead and try first, as far as the brand of lashes to buy, is Ardell. Go ahead and pick up some Ardell. You can find them at Walgreens, at CVS, Ulta, lots of places you can find Ardell at. They have a very flexible band, adhesion band, where the lashes actually come out from, and that makes it really, really easy to set. The reason that it is taking me a little bit longer to set these is because they have a very firm, rigid band, and as a beginner, that's not what you want to use. And placing it on the eye. Tweezers are so good for this. Wow, these look intense on the camera. Fun though, very fun. All right. So you want to let these dry a little bit. It's going to take just a couple of minutes. I'm fiddling with my hair too much. It's going to take just a couple of minutes for these to dry before you really want to start touching them with any other kind of product like mascara or any eyeliner touches that you might want to do. So I'm going to jump right in and just kind of work on the lower lash line while I've got some time to wait for that upper lash line to dry. This is the mascara that I have been using lately. This is Maybelline 1x1 Volume Express. True to the name, it really does separate your lashes one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and wiggle this on my lower lash line. For beginners, like I said, I would just start with a smaller lash, something a little bit more natural looking, and then work your way up if you're afraid of this kind of intense, thick and volume routine that I have going on today. This is me just wiggling in my natural lash into the fake lash. And it just gives such a flawless fit. You cannot see where my real lash ends and the fake lash begins when I blend them in like this. Don't know if you can see the difference. This is the one I haven't blended. This is the one that I have. There you go. There are my 5 easy steps for applying your falsies. It doesn't get easier than this, I promise, and eventually you'll be so good at it, you'll just pop them right on and go out for the day, go out for the night. Day look, night look, I'm a big believer in lashes for any kind of atmosphere. You just have to find the right kind for you, whether it's a small, kind of sophisticated feminine version or a huge kind of Katy Perry style like I've got going on today. You can find something that's gonna fit whatever occasion that you're trying to wear them for. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Look like a linebacker. Anywho.